Hey, welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny. Johnny, what's going on?
Hello, Tyler. Welcome back to Collector's Quest. I'm glad to hear you again.
Johnny, there's breaking news.
Breaking news?
That happened a week and a half ago by the time you're listening to this podcast, because we
have to do with auctions?
Well, I mean, in a tangential way. Wata Games is no more.
Ooh, we were here for the birth and now we're here for the end. Crazy.
Like 4 years ago, the company Collectors Universe bought Wata, and they're the same company that owns PSA. And basically, Wata is rebranding as PSA. Embattled, racistly named company Wata is rebranding as the much more beloved, especially in the current Pokemon card craze, brand PSA, which makes a lot of sense.
Hold on. Before you just say racist, maybe you explain what you mean by that. And are you calling them racist, or are you just saying that maybe this name was chosen in a way that was not well thought out?
The name Wata is based on how they interpret Bruce Lee as saying the word water, because they say like, oh, their service flows like Wata. At a minimum, it is accent humor, which is already a sketchy place to be naming your serious company on.
But it's not humor. I think they seriously thought that was homage and like, oh, this is awesome. I don't think they had ill intent behind it. That does not mean that it was not a questionable choice right out of the gate, which you and I also talked about before. We're like, they're seriously going with that, huh?
I don't think people care about that. I think people care that Carl Jobst made a video saying some mean things about Wata, and people who don't really know anything about graded games, because like, why would you bother to learn anything about graded games? It's a small, weird niche thing. Everyone was like, oh, Wata's a scam. This is the worst company ever. And now they're rebranding themselves as PSA. And most of the comments I see online are like, yeah, whatever, who cares? Graded games are stupid. And then there's like a tenth of them that are like, hell yeah, brother, good riddance. Wata's finally gone. It's the same company. This is the exact same thing. It's the same holders, same people behind it. It's the same everything. They're just putting a much more popular brand on the case of the game now.
But they should have done this immediately. This is the smartest thing that has happened to graded games in the past 3 years, honestly. The brand equity that PSA has, which people don't always love PSA, but it is the Pokemon grading company, essentially, right? They get a lot of stuff out into the world. Their label is everywhere. Like, if you are grading cards, you know about PSA. It's like dominating the market. If you are going to buy a graded Pokemon card, you want it to be a PSA. We're not talking about Beckett. We're not talking about CGC. None of these other things. It's kind of PSA premium, or your card falls off. Like, even though I think objectively PSA grades are more questionable and sometimes more head scratching than other companies, people don't care. That they're all about that PSA life. So, like, if you, a serious grading company, just bought this thing and it's called Wata, there's no brand identification there. There's like, you put all of your money on this thing. Why wouldn't you call it your thing to make people more confident and maybe want to grade games? Like, this just seems like brand acquisition and brand strengthening 101. I don't think they even care about the Carl Jobst video. I think maybe someone just went, why the fuck are we calling this thing not PSA when PSA has all the things that bring people to us? Our label means something. Wata, at very best, doesn't mean a lot, and at the worst has negative equity from the Carl Jobst thing. Like, what are we doing here? This is ridiculous.
To be clear, it's not just Carl Jobst that has put questions on Wata, but
no.
I think, I mean, if I had to guess why you would delay such a change, is that you don't want the bad press associated with Wata immediately then associated with your very valuable brand PSA.
Probably.
Because PSA grades 1 million cards a month. How many, like, that? Are there even 1 million graded video games, period? Like,
no.
There are so many more cards. They can't fuck up their card grading.
I wonder if there's an individual Pokemon card with more grades than like 50% of the video game population.
Easily, because there are cards that have like 70,000, 90,000 population. And like that's definitely more than like the number of NES games or number of PS2 games have been graded.
And again, I don't want to get into false equivalence where like it's as easy to grade a video game as it is a card. We know it's different. Okay. We're not saying it's the same thing. Because somebody said that to me once. They're like, oh, you know how much harder it is to grade a game? It's like, yeah, it's magnitudes harder. It's a lot easier to grade a sealed game than it is a CIB game. And it's a lot easier to grade one piece of cardboard than it is a sealed game. So like, yeah, we know these aren't the same. Yeah, anyways, I think this is smart. I'm a little shocked it took this long.
Johnny, I want to talk about how this is going to affect the people.
How is it affecting the people?
All right. One, obviously, anything you have graded by WATA will be immediately undesirable. And if you want proof of this, go look up sports cards. Every sports card I have is graded by one of these no-name grading companies from the 90s and the 2000s, because there were all these like bootleg companies that popped up and just started doing the same exact thing that PSA did. And all of them are like half the value of the same condition PSA card because no one wants the bootleg brand. And I realized that WATA and PSA are the same company, but I think they will become like essentially the bootleg brand, especially, you know, a few years from now. People are, I don't want the WATA case. I want the real PSA shit. If we're even collecting video games in a few years and it doesn't all go to zero, as of course it is. Secondly, on their case, the seal grade is incredibly small. So the biggest thing on the case is the box grade. It's like the 9.8. And then the second biggest thing is the name of the game. And then there's all the other small text that's like, oh, it came out in 1992, it's for Super Nintendo. And then the A+ or like whatever the seal grade is also in that very, very small font. So they're really de-emphasizing the seal. And I think that's for two reasons. They want games with worse seals to be graded and more prestigious. Because if you get like a graded game with like a B+ seal, it is essentially worthless. Like, no one wants a fucking B+ seal. But now, if the seal grade is really de-emphasized, maybe you'll think about sending it to PSA, because they really don't give a shit about the seal grade. Look at how small it is on their label. And the second thing is, this is definitely them saying, send us more complete in box. We want the box grade to be what really matters here. And we want to simplify this for the dummies that we're trying to bring into the market. I do think this... I don't know if this is going to be like another 2001. It's a name change, but it is. So it's visually simplifying it to where if you're just some Pokemon guy and you're trying to go into video games, it looks like it's just one number now, even though it is a number and a letter for this sealed game stuff.
And how do you feel about it overall, though? Because I've said I think this is a smart move. What's your takeaway?
I don't care. Like, there's people in like the Greg Discord, complaining about the visual design and all that. Like, I care about the game. All these companies, people have like such strong opinions about like, oh, CGC grades this consistently and WATA fucked this up and what the fuck is VGA? Like, all of them make a plastic box for a video game. All of them look at your video game for 30 seconds. Me, when I have like a good video game that I would want in a nice plastic box, I look at that game for a very long time. I'm going to look at that game way longer than any other company would ever look at it. So I'm the one who makes the value judgment and the condition judgment on my video games. I don't care what's on the fucking label or what I realize this impacts like the value and certain brands will be more prestigious compared to the other. But like, I could not give a shit. You can... If you want to give me a sealed Super Metroid, I don't care if it's VGA or PSA or CGC or if it's in a box protector. I'll be happy to have a sealed Super Metroid. It's fine.
Okay. So you've said all that, but do you think this is a good change overall? You said you don't care, but do you think it's a good change for them from their point of view for video games? Do you think this is a good change?
I mean, I don't see how, getting rid of like the WATA brand, I don't see how that would get people less interested in the video game market. So in terms of like prices and trying to get some of that hot Pokemon money, more interested in video games, it's probably bad in terms of prices, like bad depending on what you want prices to go up or down. It's probably good in terms of prices going up if you want prices to go up. It's bad because I think It's just a little bit more interest. It's going to cause a little bit more interest in the upper end market and probably a little bit more interest in complete in box grading, which removes stuff from the CIB market for the rest of us, right?
Okay, sure.
So,
all right.
That's the news, Johnny, from a week and a half ago.
Well, there was also some historic auctions that you wanted to talk about.
Were there? Oh, you know what? I wanted to mention when I say like just the weird Pokemon money, there was a pre-release Raichu. This was I don't remember. It's like the earliest set. It's like a base set pre-release card. It was a Raichu, but it never actually made it to production. And then they like found one, and it sold for $550,000. Like a Raichu that you don't even know what it is, because unless you were like in the Pokemon hobby and tracking like the mythical ultra rares, it's just like a random super rare unreleased card, and it just goes for just insane money.
Yep.
And is that more than that Donkey Kong sold for? I don't even. Yeah, that's more than that Donkey Kong. That Donkey Kong sold for like 300,000, right?
Tell the people what Donkey Kong you're talking about.
Oh, did we not talk about that yet?
Not really.
Yeah, like a sticker sealed Donkey Kong sold for like $350,000 or something. The only sticker sealed Donkey Kong. I think this is really funny, actually. So it's a 9.6 A++. So it's like a mint condition Donkey Kong. For what it's worth, I think it is a cool thing. I think it would be cool to own a mint condition Donkey Kong on NES, but at the same time, it's the 1986 NES port of a game from 1981. So like how it's worth $300,000 because it's the first appearance of Mario, even though it came out 5 years after the arcade game. Like, okay.
Can you imagine getting like Skyrim on the PS5 and being like, this is the edition of Skyrim, let's go grade it, and everyone be excited for it?
I understand its rarity and its black boxness, but like for the same, it's basically the same price as like what mint condition first print Zeldas are going for. And I understand it's got a boost because it's one of one, but man, give me one of those first print Zeldas if I'm spending $300,000 in a video game over Donkey Kong on NES. And then I'm going to take that extra money and I'm going to buy a first print Donkey Kong arcade cabinet. Because if you have $300,000, you could pretty much buy whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, go buy a Donkey Kong red cab, right? Get the red one.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you feel about the sale price?
How do you guess these sale prices? You look at it's literally like crypto bros who like they all of a sudden have many millions of dollars and they're just like spending their life deciding how best to waste their money. Like a lot of I think that's more in the Pokemon market.
Well, I mean, you had expectations for what you thought this way. Did it underperform, overperform?
I said $750,000, Johnny. But like, how do you predict a sale like this? Everyone was way lower. Everyone thought this actually overperformed. I think people were in like the 100, 200,000 range in their predictions. And I'm just like, it's a one of one. People have had their chance to buy an early print Super Mario Brothers. People have had their chance to buy the first print Legends of Zelda. Like these have come up since 2021. This is the first time this Donkey Kong has come up since the bubble. And I thought that like, I don't know, maybe one of these rich guys with like $2 million is going to go bid something crazy on it.
But this wasn't a signature auction, right? This was just like a weekly?
This wasn't on Heritage Auctions. This was Golden Auctions, I think.
Okay. So do you think it was hurt by not being on Heritage?
No. All these consigners, like all these auction companies. Johnny, how small do you think the video game market is for people spending $100,000 on video games? Every single auctioneer must have the contact info of every single person in the world willing to spend that much on a video game.
Yeah, there's not that much, not that many. They're like, hey guys, you four are gonna fight it out again. So maybe just decide amongst yourself how much you want to pay.
Johnny, do you want a relevant fact that ties our two stories together here?
Excellent, please.
This sticker sealed Donkey Kong had shrink wrap on it originally. It wasn't like H-seam shrink wrap. And when it was graded, WATA removed the outer shrink wrap, which is something they used to do. And now it only has the sticker seal.
I'm sorry, they did. Hold on. They did what now?
So I don't really understand. I don't understand packaging. I don't understand how NES seals work. I don't think in like 2018, maybe even the grading companies fully understood it. So there were games that were exported from the United States, and for whatever reason, they had their shrink wrap replaced, or they had like different shrink wrap. Like, so NES games have like the H seam on the back, but you would get just like a regular shitty shrink wrap machine like did it, and it doesn't have like the same fancy kind of seam on it, but apparently there's still like legitimate sealed games that were like that.
Okay.
And it sounded like this Donkey Kong was one of those, and it was graded at a time where where Wata was removing that outer shrink wrap. So so we got one. It's still sealed. It's just had one of the layers of shrink wrap removed.
That just feels bad. I don't like it. It's just I don't like it, Tyler. That's my problem with that.
You know, I got a sealed Mario 3 from Japan. That was one of these export seals. They're like called third-party export seals or something, and Wata removed that. So now I have my new Super Mario Brothers 3 that doesn't have the weird shrink wrap on it anymore.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, but whatever. It was like $150. I would feel worse about a $300,000 game that I knew that had happened to.
Yeah. Still.
But now they don't have to worry about it, because you know who did that? It was Wata that did that, and now we have PSA who's
not PSA. PSA slate. would never. PSA would never.
Beloved company PSA, who I'm sure there's not 100 videos on YouTube complaining about Pokemon card stuff.
Oh, definitely. Hey, you want to hear something interesting about some shrink wrap as well?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, this is not that interesting, but do you remember we talked about Stephen King games last year? You loved that episode.
Yes, people said they hated that episode.
People didn't say they hated that episode. Okay, no one said they hated that.
Everyone
episode.
Run to Discord right now to the commentary for this episode and tell us again, did you love that Stephen King episode?
Did you love that or hate? Hey, so anyways, the Dark Half, I found out, one has alternate packaging, but that's not the cool thing. So have you ever seen designs on shrink wrap? Like part of the packaging is like a design they put on the shrink wrap?
No. So you're saying like an imprinted design, kind of like how they have watermarks on trading card booster boxes?
Kind of, but like actually a functional design, like a big part of it is like the shrink wrap is like covered in like a print.
Why would you do that? Because most people rip off and throw out the shrink wrap.
I know. And like, you wouldn't want to make it something cool, right?
I guess, but I guess you're going to tell me that there is something cool on one of these games.
Well, on the Dark Half, the Stephen King game, there's a bloody handprint, and I only saw it because I finally saw one sealed, and there's just in the seal, there's a bloody handprint on the plastic. And it's like, oh, because there's like a blood smear through the Dark Half, like blood trickling down through the lettering. But if you have it sealed, it also is a handprint, which I thought was interesting. I just like, wow, was this a thing they did? Because I hadn't really ever recognized this before. So I was wondering if you had seen this kind of thing.
I don't think I've ever seen anything fancy on any shrink wrap besides a sticker, Johnny. That seems like a huge manufacturing waste of time for a video game that absolutely no one remembers.
It seems like a questionable choice, to say the least.
This has been the sealed game 20 minutes at the beginning of Collector's Quest.
Yeah. It was multiple handprints too. I'll send you a link to it. But yeah, this to me was crazy. That
I'm guessing you bought one.
Anyways, I didn't. It was $75, and I was like, I already have the Dark Half, but it was pretty cool. I was very tempted, but it's like, am I buying this now? Now I'm buying this because it's sealed. That seems like a slippery slope for me.
I don't know. It sounds like a pretty unique thing. I would have bought it.
Don't make me feel bad. Also, it was ending in like a day, and then I was like, maybe they'll relist it if no one bids on it, and then I can get it cheaper. And I don't think anyone bought it. Anyways, I gave you the link to it so you can see this weird thing. This guy who sells a bunch of video games. So, anyways, I'm checking him out. So we'll get into some more questionable stuff and unique stuff later. But today, Tyler, we can get towards our main topic. And this is something I was thinking about. And it's something people ask us, why don't people collect sets anymore? And I think we kind of have a canned answer for that. We're like, well, there are keys now and, new people in the market, and we've just kind of modeled what we did off of comics. But I think you and I both know that it's more than that. And I kind of wanted to talk about this idea of spread and like the expansion of video games, just in quantity, and like what that does to collecting, and just that as an idea. We don't have to have a long talk about it, but that's what I wanted our main conversation to be today.
I think people still collect sets, Johnny.
I know people
I just don't. It's not the default way that everybody collects anymore.
No, and that used to be that was a thing. Like, you're just like, oh, but did they even collect sets, or was it just like, we collect Nintendo sets, we collect the NES set?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, even when I got into it, it was still like, I'm not here to collect NES and Sega Saturn. I'm here to collect every NES game and every Sega Saturn game. So, I mean, that's how I got into it anyway. It was just like, I didn't even consider anything else. I mean, but it is like very much collectors love a checklist, right?
They do. I mean, it's part of their whole thing. It's, their whole identity is based around this, myself included. You and I got into this basically the same way, kind of on the same sets, which is funny. But anyways, let's talk about this as an idea, acknowledging, yes, people still do collect sets. People go for smaller sets. People are very excited about the idea of the Switch 2 and collecting sets for it. Have you heard about this?
Not at all, but who is excited for collecting Switch 2? Actually, I don't honestly, I don't care about the Switch 2 in the slightest. There's just nothing interesting there for me yet. Like, I want to play the Donkey Kong game. I'm going to just go play it in 5 years. But YouTube has sent me down the algorithm rabbit hole of people that are just angry about how not worth it the Switch 2 is. And I don't know why YouTube thinks I care about this, but it's constantly recommending me videos of people angry about Switch 2. So that's the only thing I've seen about the Switch 2. You're telling me people are excited to collect this? All I see is like, oh, game key card this, not enough exclusives that, oh, video game prices are out of control.
So, yes, there is a small contingent, because the library is going to be so small of actual games, like, not they produced a card, but like, actually there's a game on this cartridge, not just some bullshit key card, or whatever code card, whatever it's called. I'm not sure all the terminology. I don't have all my Switch 2 facts locked in yet, but they're like, okay, these are actual games on carts. There's not going to be that many of them. This is going to be a really small set. This is going to be an easy one for us to knock out. We can definitely do set collecting for this. And it's all going to be like, not all, but mostly be first-party Nintendo titles. What an awesome set to have.
I guess, man, I look at the Switch 2. I already look at the Switch and I'm like, all right, so it's all like re-releases, remastered, and a few Nintendo exclusives, although a lot of them came from the previous console. And you know what? When I look at the Switch 2, Johnny, it's like, oh, okay, it's a bunch of re-releases and remastered and a bunch of games from the previous console, and here's like the 3 exclusives. And I know there's going to be more, but I feel the same exact way, except now all the third-party games don't even come on the cartridge anymore.
Yeah.
But yes, I guess that the cool first party set, it's going to have the Wii U appeal of like, there's going to be, 100, 200 real games probably. And you could just collect a very easy set that's full of Nintendo stuff.
That is 100% where people are at. Anyways, something for you to think about. How many people did we just like make their ears prick up like, oh, is this a set we could collect? We're not recommending this, guys. We're just telling you what we've heard. So don't go crazy. You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't have to.
Video games are $80, Johnny. A Super Mario Galaxy / Super Mario Galaxy 2 is $70. Those are Wii games. They're not even updating them.
Tyler, to be fair, were both of those games on Mario All-Star Collection?
No, only one of them was.
So only one then. So like, this is the definitive collection then of those games.
And every single person who buys Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Switch is someone who already owns Super Mario 3D All-Stars. So in reality, you are paying $70 just to play Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Yeah, absolutely that.
That's so dumb. I hate it.
No, this is the best, Tyler.
Is Pokemon ZA out?
I don't
Pokemon
think
Legends
so.
ZA?
Or coming out soon, because Mega Evolutions comes out next week.
The
Pre-release already happened.
So that Pokemon Legends $70 game, there's already like an expansion. It's like a $20 or $30 expansion. The game's not even out yet. We're
Yeah.
Video games are like $100 now.
Yes.
You can go on good old games and get like Fallout or like Thief 2 for like literally $1.
You sound like such a poor right now.
Let
you
me
sound
tell
like
you
such a
guys.
poor. Mm-mm.
There was a time, so in 2010, PC games cost nothing. Steam sales were ridiculous. Everything was basically free, 90% off all the time. Then Steam took their monopoly, increased prices on everything. And now all the console games have gotten so ridiculous in price. I feel like, yeah, PC games are just like stupid and cheap and unbelievable again. It's too good of a deal. I can't handle consoles. I'm not spending $70 on new video games, Johnny. I'm just too poor.
You're going to have to. You're a poor. You sound like a huge poor right now. Tell us about how you don't have money, Tyler.
I don't. Well, it's ridiculous.
No, these games have gotten out of control. I don't know. Like, how do you? It's hard for me to even gauge what's good or bad anymore, especially in a world where people are like, okay, I'm going to go spend, $50 on this pack of Pokemon cards, or a new box is $300 when it used to be like $90. The world is insane right now. Everything is expensive, it feels like. So why not games too, I think, is the question that everyone's asking.
It's because the economy is just booming.
Yeah. Anyways, let's diverge far away from that conversation and get into what I was talking about. Is collection spread getting bigger? Is it widening? Is the gap great? What do I even mean? What is collection spread? What is this idea I'm talking about? Do you want me to talk about that? You wrote some notes, or I can talk through.
You came up with the term, so I'm going to say you should talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you just wrote some stuff, so I didn't want to feel like I was stepping on you. So it's this idea, right, that when we were younger and we were into collecting, and when collecting video games was newer, there wasn't that many games, honestly. You had your Atari, your NES, your Super Nintendo, you got up to like GameCube, and that was the landscape. And your Sega consoles, yes, there was a lot of PC games, but like most people weren't even acknowledging that. There was some Saturn stuff. We had some Sega stuff over here, but you could see everything. You could be in a room with all of those games. It wasn't so many games that you were like, I could never do this. I couldn't collect this set. I couldn't get all of these games. You looked around and you said, if I wanted to, I could buy every single game, especially the first time I ever said that when I was a kid. It was, around when the Super Nintendo was still new. I said, I could have every game. And what was I looking at? The Super Nintendo, the NES, a Master System I didn't even know about. I knew about the TurboGrafx 16, but that didn't have many games. There was no PlayStation even at that time. You could just look around and you could see, like, I could own every video game if I wanted. And now, Tyler, that just isn't true. People have been forced into, collecting keys, or, becoming very specialist collectors. We used to just collect sets. You'd just be like, yeah, I'm just going to go get this. The idea, people have had to become specialists out of this growth, because now you've got, like, once you got into PS2, you're just like, man, there's so many games. And then the PS3 and the library widens, and every mobile game that ever came out, and not that takes up physical space, but it takes up mental space, as you're just like, oh, there's all these extra games out there. PS4, PS5, the Switch, which has over like 2,000 games or something ridiculous. There are so many more games, Tyler. Xbox Live expands the idea of games. What is considered games, and reprints and remakes? It is just very hard to get your arms around the idea that you could even know what all the video games are. Even if you didn't think you could collect all the games before, you're like, I could know what every video game is. I could know. It's not that hard. I could go learn this, and I would come across very few games where I'd be like, I have never heard of that. You know what game I saw today that I had never heard of, Tyler?
What?
Okay, and mind you, I look for dumb Halloween games and things that might fit into this. So there is a game called Drunken Fist 2 Zombie Hangover. So stupid. It's for the PS5. What? I've never heard of this. Also, there's a compilation of it of Drunken Fist and Drunken Fist 2 because, why wouldn't you make a compilation for that that you could go get? It's just so much. There's so much. They're like the idea that a Halloween game that's not a PC game could exist that I've never heard of is a strange idea for me. And that's a microcosm of what collecting all video games is now. It's so big. It's so nebulous. You just don't know. And I think that has kind of forced some of the generalization on us. And that's what I mean by collection spread. That is the idea I'm coming with here. Now, how do you feel about what I just said there? You agree, disagree? You got points and thoughts, I'm sure.
In like the 90s and 2000s, not only was there way less in general, not only was there way less per console, but like information moved so much slower before the internet and in the early internet. Like, and I realized we were kids, so we weren't like plugged into the actual industry events where stuff was happening, but we would see video game releases like news, and it would take a minimum of a couple months to get to us in like a Nintendo Power magazine to get excited for some upcoming thing, where now it's like, I could go on Steam and it's like, oh, here's like the 7 new games that were released today. Here's the 7 new games that are like playable that were released today out of the 170 that are like complete shovelware, and like 7 like decent ones you could try, but no one's going to try them because there's too many games. And similar to you, like I watch like these horror Let's Play YouTubers because I need some background noise sometimes. And like literally every day they'll post a new video of like a horror game, like an indie horror game, but like a game no one's ever heard of, just every single day. Yeah, no, I mean, so I started in like 2005, 2006. And again, my goal was to own everything, and it felt attainable. Like, it didn't feel immediately attainable. I was working at Burger King at the time, but it was like I like started doing the math, and it's like, oh, after an average video game costs like $13 once you have all like the 25-cent games over here, and there's a couple games that cost like $75 over here. So if I keep working at Burger King for 7 years, after 7 years, if prices stay the same way they are and I don't get interested in anything else, I'll just own every video game. Which didn't happen because, believe it or not, I had my interests over those 7 years expanded beyond the 2 or 3 main consoles that I collected, and I wasted a lot of money on a lot of other stupid stuff.
Tell us about your cubes, your puzzle cubes.
Wait, what?
You said you wasted money on a lot of stupid stuff. I was bringing up your puzzle cubes.
What puzzle cubes? The puzzle boxes?
Yeah, puzzle box.
I just sold a puzzle box for over $300 that I spent like $90 on. Hold on, I'm looking at. You want to talk about puzzle boxes? Puzzle boxes are big business, man.
Oh yeah,
people want my puzzle boxes.
I was just giving you an opportunity to gloat about making money on your puzzle box. I saw. I don't know. It felt like a fun thing because you've talked about it, and it's a nice callback to older episodes where you were talking about these things.
Both of my puzzle boxes sold for over $300, dude. You guys, you want to get into puzzle? You want to leave this video game collecting hobby behind? So, like, you can't just go and buy a good puzzle box. All of them are, like, boutique objects that are handcrafted by, like, these fancy maker people. So if you want, like, a good mechanical puzzle, you got to get in on these, like, limited edition drops, and all of them go up in price. So stop speculating on video games. Start speculating on physical puzzles, I'm telling you. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to turn this money into a Charizard now.
Okay. Sounds good. Anyways.
Johnny, all right. You said that people are forced to buy keys. They're forced to specialize. I definitely don't think that's the case.
I think they are forced to, even if they don't know they're being forced to. Because how can you tell everyone? I don't think there's any way for someone to walk in and be like, I can collect all of these games. I think you are forced to have different ideas when you see the sheer volume of what's out there. You would sound like a crazy person now if you said that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you're right, but like their specialization might be like mainstream games released on the PS2 and Nintendo Switch and all the consoles in their lifetime, and it's just like, that just because they are specialized does not mean it's an interesting specialization. Their specialization is like, oh, AAA releases of the past 20 years. Like, I guess that's a specialization.
I didn't make any claims to that. I just said I think they are forced to make these choices, whether they realize they're forced to or not.
Yeah, I mean the counter thing to someone who is collecting, let's say, PS2 and up, and they know a lot of things about that console, they might not know about PC Engine shooters. I do have knowledge of PC Engine shooters and obscure Super Nintendo platformers, but I don't know shit about what's on like the Nintendo Switch, let alone PS5 or Xbox. I just have no knowledge in that because, again, like you said, I can only keep so much in my brain.
And that's not wrong. I mean, it's just like what has happened and why I think people have moved away from, hardcore set collecting or this idea of owning everything, which is, and people are also forced into this idea of minimalism versus maximizing or maximalism. We're just like, okay, I'm not a maximalist, I'm a minimalist, or I'm only going to get the games I love and like, and stuff. They like these caveats. But back in the day, no one issued these caveats. It was just like, man, I'm buying every game. Fuck yeah, let's do it. No one was like, you should really just focus on what you like. There was a few people who were smart and maybe said things like that, but you were like, yeah, you want to buy every game? Yeah, me too. Let's go. High five, bro. Let's compete.
No, what was crazy about the mid 2000s back then? People, like a lot of people were going to flea markets and garage sales and all that. I think definitely more than are doing that kind of thing now. And people would buy Commodore 64 games and PC games. Like regular console collectors would just have Commodore 64 games because they were like pretty common to find at like a flea market. Johnny Noah's buying Commodore 64 games now.
No.
How cool was that? People used to buy computer games. You would just see SSI Gold Box games in like random people's collections just because they were common and people had them.
Boxes of loose Atari carts, man.
Everyone's got to have a little box of loose Atari carts because they're like 50 cents each.
Yeah. Why did I ever have any Channel F games? Why would I buy that? Why would I indulge in that? All this random stuff. Even I, who didn't care about Atari, just had a box of Atari stuff because you just found it. Like, it was just like, whatever. And it cost nothing. The prices were so cheap. You're just like, I can't afford not to buy this. Like, who cares? Or people would just throw it in because no one had this idea that video games were anything other than something that didn't matter. Like people did not care about games. No one was like, this is an artifact. This is a big collectible. We got to spend a lot of money on these. You don't understand how valuable this is. Do you know how rare this game is? People weren't talking like that. Now you walk in anywhere and someone's going to throw you like 4 facts about a bullshit game and tell you why you should have it sealed and graded and like how good this thing is and how it's a historical artifact. That was just not the culture.
Did you know that this one is actually the Nintendo Seal of Quality Circle Seal and not the later print Oval Seal, which actually came out in 1991?
You see that this one's got a that's got the wrong poster in it. This is you can see here, this is the 1987 poster when clearly it should be the 1986 poster. This collector clearly doesn't know what they're doing. They've got an imp in their collection and they should probably take care of that if they actually care about collecting.
All right, Johnny, we collected differently back then and things have changed since then. So with this idea of collection spread and maybe collection spread widening and there being a lot more video games that it is technically possible to collect, how focused should your collection be? What is the ideal amount of this collection spread that will make you the happiest?
Well, so here's the thing. I don't know what is going to happen because we are going to reach that golden point where physical games stop existing, right? Or only exist as a specialized item where we're not going to see that many. So I think right now, people have just kind of agreed that it's too much. And again, it's not just physical games, it's just games in general. Steam libraries, mobile, all this stuff, all these indie games, it's just too much to know. I think though, when all the console makers come in and finally give up the ghost on physical games, I think we will have this point where people say, okay, now I can kind of look at collecting again and we can look at what is actually meaningful and how to collect like everything again. Like, I think we'll get some more of those people. Like, it's over. I can go back and do it. But as far as like right now, like how much spread should you have? I don't like, you shouldn't go anywhere you don't want to go in collecting. This is, again, these aren't recommendations. Like, I'm not telling anyone like you should only buy these systems. Like, again, start with your nostalgia, see what you get interested, find something you like learning about, and then let that be your guide. If you are looking at video games as assets, as investor chips, something you long term, like what do you buy? Then you should just be buying the same way you invest in like regular stocks. You should just be buying blue chip items. You shouldn't be focused on sets. Like, buy your Marios and your Pokemons and, keep it all Nintendo, and like, don't do anything crazy. Like, I don't know, get like 2 tax like sealed and like 9.6 on the PS2 or something. That would be like a weird choice.
All right. I think I have a different take. So you're saying, like, I don't know, go where your interests take you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like for someone, if someone was just coming in and asking me what they should do, or like what we've done is entirely different, but we've been at it too long.
But if I had my current interests and I was just like dumped, and you gave me $5,000 and you said, here, you have a year to go collect video games, if I was starting from nothing, I would be like, oh my God, all right, well, let's start with Nintendo. We got to get all the good Nintendo games, and now Super Nintendo and Sega. I would be all over the place, PC, and oh my God, there's all these PS2 games I can get for like $10, and they're all these all-time classics. And I don't think that's a bad way to collect. That's certainly
No.
Getting the good stuff is a good way to collect.
Yep,
But
I think that's a smart way to do it.
Johnny, as someone who also, I have a lot of good video games. Not saying I have a lot of collectible video games. I'm saying I just have a lot of good video games, because I look at, for a long time, I look at a video game and be like, oh, there it is. It's God of War 2. It's BioShock. It's Portal 2. It's something good. And it's like $6 and I have to buy it. And if you do that, you could do that literally like 5,000 times. There is no end to the amount of random good video games. And the more you're into it, you're gonna learn about, like, all right, what are the English playable Famicom exclusive? Those are good video games. What are the cool Super Famicom games to import? Oh, those are cheap. Let's get all of those. You could buy good video games forever, and then all of a sudden you end up with 15,000 video games. And even though maybe they're all good, maybe you curated all 15,000 of those video games, it is still too much to even keep in your head and to appreciate all of it, I think. I could tell you right now that owning 2,000 good video games feels exactly the same as owning 1,000 good video games. It's just a pile of stuff at some point. Part of this problem is, like, you could basically do that and just buy quote unquote good video games that cost, let's say, under $100. So none of them are like exceptionally collectible games. You could do that forever. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands of video games you could buy just like that. You can get a Guinness World Record buying and not have a game worth over $1,000. But if you do that, I think you are less likely to own something really incredible. I think you are less likely to own something that you really think makes your collection stand out. And I'm not saying you have to collect for other people or you have to collect to have some really valuable things. But when you see a Myriad 6-in-1 sell for $8,000, that is not just going to some rich guy. I mean, it probably is going to some rich guy, but the person who's buying a complete in box Myriad 6-in-1 for $8,000, they have everything else on Nintendo. That's not even like maybe they don't have stadium events just because it's too expensive, but like they have all the other unlicensed games. They have probably Sachin games. They probably have homebrew games. They have done it. And now they are trying to stretch into these weird frontiers where they can get some really interesting items, because if the average collect everything collector has $8,000, they're not going to buy a Myriad freaking 6-in-1. They're going to be like, oh, I could buy these 100 incredible other games instead of this one collectible NES thing. So only the NES specialist is going to end up with those top tier items. And I'm not saying it has to be NES, but the more you limit yourself, the more you kind of force yourself to be pushed into the more interesting stuff, I think. And I realize Myriad 6-in-1 is like an $8,000 example. There are lower priced examples of games that are still interesting to own that not everyone will have. Because again, if you're just buying all the good stuff under $100, that's just like a baseline of, if I'm setting up a robot to buy random good video games under $100, he will probably never end up with anything interesting.
That's true. Again, and if it depends what you were coming in and what your goals were, right? Like if you just love games and want good games, you might just wind up like us. And that, if you want to just hardcore invest, it's hard, right? So again, if you came to me with $5,000 and said, I don't really care about games, I just think this is an investment opportunity, or you're looking for a big swing, then I think you would have to really, I don't know, you would have to look at something very specialized and niche and then like hope it goes for it, right? You're rooting for probabilities here swinging in your favor. Like, oh, this might be great. Let's maybe just grab all of this because I think grab these 3 things because I think one day people are going to turn this over and realize these are awesome. And I think some people did that in the beginning of collecting or tried to make other people think that was happening with things like, Urban Champion and like Wild Gunman and all these golf games, these black box golf games people were buying. And they're just like, I'm going to put so much money at these games because I think one day these sticker sealed games are going to be where it's at. And no one picked up these ones. Like you could take swings like that, but I don't know if you were just coming in and just a normal person, I would still just pick up blue chip games. I'm not saying go crazy.
Investing. Who cares about video game investing? If you're going to speculate on pop culture collectibles, let me tell you about the Pokemon trading card game.
This is a theoretical. Someone came to us asking to buy video games. What should they buy? Then that's what I'm talking about. If you just love games, if you are asking me like, hey, I love games, how should I collect? Then what you're talking about them buying like one weird thing to like make their collection pop. Like, it's like, yeah, you should say, okay, look, you should do this thing where you collect a couple of the good things that you really love. Here's like, buy your nostalgia games, right? Like get into that trap. And then you should then find a few gems. So a couple of these big items that people will recognize and know are cool, but usually don't spend on, go grab some of those. Yeah, I agree with that as like someone who actually likes games and wants to collect, but like who are these people who are coming in right now?
I don't know who's coming in. No one's collecting video games, Johnny. Video games are dying. That's not true.
I feel there is a limited amount of people coming in, and I think the people who did come in and the people who feel like they're leaving are the people who were like, I needed to invest in alternate assets, and who knows? Things can turn around in a minute. Like somebody big could mention a video game and all this stuff could turn on its head. Or again, someone could announce the end of physical games and, everything could shift in a minute. So I don't know. I mean, endless cheap games are a trap though, right? Like we agree on that.
Cheap games can be very good, very worth owning. All sorts of things. Yes, I think having literally every PS2 game, I think like the entire PS2 set is probably worth owning. But to prevent myself not only from the monetary cost of that, which I don't need in my life, but also the physical room, video games take up so much damn room. I think it's important to set limits and have the ability to understand something exists and that it is cool and that it is an important all-time video game without having to buy it just because it's there. And that's what I try to do with every game released since 2000. I know there are so many PS2 games I would look at and be like, wow, that's an exclusive. Look, it's an RPG. It's a little bit interesting. It's only like $55. It's going to be something forever, right? It's a PS2 exclusive RPG. And I could just look at it and I'm like, that exists. It's cool. And I don't have to own it just because I know it exists. And even if I think it's a good deal, I don't have to own every single game that I think is a good deal, even in
good deals are a trap too. So holistically, we were talking about spread, but if we're talking about spread within your own collection, like how do you keep your collection from becoming a giant trap? I think cheap games are a trap. As we were talking about, I think good deals are sometimes a trap. Just because something is a good deal doesn't mean it's worth owning. Just remember that. Like, take those words to heart, bury it in your brain, and then when you look at something, say it to yourself. Just because it's a good deal doesn't mean it's worth owning. I wish that was something I had the capability of doing more often, because, man, I would own a lot less stuff had I echoed those words to myself.
I know people have they've got like their selling stuff on eBay pipeline set up, but as a lazy person who can do this essentially one day a week is when I want to be selling stuff on eBay. At my like maximum output, I could sell like 20 or 30 things a week. And then I'm just like, all right, this is too much stuff to take to the post office. This is a hassle. And man, I could buy games so much faster than that.
We've talked about it. It's so easy to buy games and it's so hard to sell games. And then just dealing with selling as a idea is fucking horrible. I'm still dealing with this guy who ripped me off on eBay. I'm still dealing with this. Like we're going into over 1 month now of me fucking dealing with this. And it's just like what if the shoe was on the other foot? What if I was the seller in this scenario and someone was actually scamming me rather than me being the buyer and being scammed? Like, just like a month of your life gets wrapped up in this thing. Oh my God. For what? A couple $100? This feels terrible.
Johnny, I know we say this a lot. This is kind of one of those episodes where we're reiterating our greatest hits.
Yes.
What is the goal of your collection? And not just what are like the top games that you want right now. If you can picture yourself, I don't know, pretend it's 5-10 years from now, and say your video game collection is done, what does the end result look like? And when you walk into that room, what are your eyes immediately drawn to? What are the things that make you most excited? Because again, if I have that robot who's just buying a lot of decent video games, he will have a good collection of games, but when you walk into the room, it'll just be like, there's not one thing I look at. It's just like, okay, you're a video game collector, you're a hoarder, you're one of these physical media people, you've got mental problems like all the rest of those video game collectors. But this is a guy I use as an example a lot because his collection is very distinctive. The Australian YouTube guy who's way into N64. He has a very nicely laid out game room, and the thing that is very clearly highlighted, he has like every N64 console variant. And the thing, like, he has an entire wall. It's all the fantastic colors, followed by all the fantastic colors from like Australia, and then all the fantastic colors from Japan. It's like literally a wall of like 18 fantastic N64s. No one fucking has that. It looks super fucking cool. And they're like all displayed outward. They're not shoved on a shelf or anything. It's like, yeah, I'm the N64 console variant guy, and yeah, I've got all the other stuff. I'm a video game collector. But he has like this thing that's like, bam, when you walk in, like, he's obviously the most excited about these N64 console variants, and that's like his collecting identity. So when you're imagining the end result of your collection in 5 to 10 years, are you imagining just like, yeah, you know, I've got like, I don't know, 500 good PS2 games, 500 good PS3 games, 500 good PS4 games, 500 good PS5 games? Or do you imagine like some top shelf cool stuff that immediately draws your eyes somewhere? And like, what is the cool stuff that you do want to own?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very important question to ask yourself, I think. And we normally don't frame it like this, but what do you want to be known as? Like, if you're showing this off and people come in, do you just want to be known as the guy who has a lot of games, or do you want to be known for something specific about your games? How does what does somebody learn about you from looking at your collection? Do they learn anything aside from I like games? And that's a fine thing to learn. If you just like, I love old games and that's who I am, that's cool. Like, I mean, I'm that guy. It's okay. I've got other things going on too, but I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm asking you to think about that. It's like, is that an okay answer for you? Because it might not be. Or is there more to it than that you want people to like really focus on? We all know that I want to go down the weirdo Halloween rabbit hole. It's coming up. We're already here, guys. Don't worry. Strap in. It's going to be a month long of episodes you are feeling very meh about. But I'm going to do it because that's who I want to be known as. So ask yourself about that.
Johnny, what am I known as?
You are known as guy who likes historical video games, who likes going after actual first prints. You like digging into the weeds on things and finding things that are actually relevant, things that made video games what they are, not just modern exclusive garbage or came with tchotchkes. You want to be known as the guy who went out and found the real shit. You want the OGs to look at you and go, this boy's a real one, dog. He's out here in the trenches doing the hard work, finding out shit that matters, and we're out here just buying garbage.
All right, yeah, that's a good description. I would say earlier on, I wanted as many sets as possible, regardless of the quality of the set. Because I have so many loose Nintendo sets. I got, loose NES set, loose SNES set, loose Game Boy set, N64 set. It's all loose. Is my none of my Sega stuff's complete. But then I have the Odyssey 2 set and the Wii U set and all these kind of bullshit sets. And it'd be like, oh, I've got 17 complete sets. And it's and 6 of them are impressive even.
Yeah.
And then I thought I wanted to be the Xbox guy, and then I realized that Xbox kind of sucks, and there was a while I wanted to be the NES homebrew guy. I mean, it's changed a lot for me over the years. Since my collection is actually going down in size now, I feel like that's a turning point. I feel like maybe I will stay the historic games and early print elitist guy who if you have a Tomb Raider, it better be the PAL European version, because that's the technical place that game came out first.
I think this version of you aligns more with how you are in the rest of your life.
How I am in the rest of my life? How is that?
Yeah. Just a little more focused. You would rather spend money on something good than a bunch of garbage in general. If you had to choose between, say, 2 coffee presses, if you knew one was going to last 10 years and one was going to last 5 years, you'd feel more comfortable spending the money on the good one, or the one that had more relevance for whatever reasons got lined out for it.
Man, you really got my personality kind of. That's scary. It's like a psychic reading there. I would want the most commonly used, easiest to service, and highest quality, most expensive thing. It's probably because we've talked about things like cars a lot.
We have again with cars. I know exactly what you want in a car too. You don't want computers and technology, but you want it to be reliable. You want it to be kind of small because you don't want to be taking up too much space on the road. You want some kind of efficiencies. You want it to be fixable and not have to rely on all this other stuff, even though you were definitely taking it to a mechanic and not getting out there yourself.
Yeah, I get out there myself. We got the YouTubes. That's the whole point.
Yeah, you get out there yourself. You're not just taking it to a mechanic, maybe for a few small things. But if something big goes wrong, you're not.
Oh yeah, no, I do the easy stuff. I do maybe it might just be this sensor, and I'll be all right, I'll spend $60 and just YOLO replace that sensor, and then it's oh, didn't work. All right, someone realized to look at this now.
Yeah, what I'm saying is you're not jacking that thing up, putting it on blocks, sliding it under it, and being all right, let's fucking get to work here. I feel like tooling on this bitch for a little while. I don't know what this personality thing is that I'm doing to represent you, but I gotta stop.
No, it's good. You got me down, Johnny. It's good.
Anyways,
let's talk about Ultima again.
Yeah, guys, you like Ultima? Because I really like old RPGs, and I would like to play them. I'm very into playing these kind of obscure games to completion that a lot of people have casually overlooked, and I think we're really missing what has made RPGs what they are. And I'm going to tell you why
are we playing older games? God damn, video games cost $70. Get on good old games. The games cost $1. Just play them. Just don't buy. People buy old digital games and just put them in their collection, and they're I don't know, maybe when I'm 75 years old, I'll have time to play all this shit because I'll be retired. What are you doing? Just go stop buying new games and just go play. No one listening to this podcast ever needs to buy a game for the rest of their life. I'm telling you right now, you could have started collecting games last month. You already have more games than you could ever play in your entire life. Especially if you're going to get into stuff and not just try to play everything as fast as possible and take your time and enjoy things. How games were when you were 8 years old. Stop buying games.
Guys, have you played Riven? That game is bullshit. Who the fuck made this game? This is made by fucking assholes. The most obscure puzzles. Who the fuck is solving this? That's me being Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I know who you are. Hi, Tyler. We've met. We're friends. I pay attention. But again, back to what we're talking about. What is the point of your collection? Are you flexing? Is this a big flex? You want to show off something? Tyler, tell them about preservation, because I know we have a few people who are preservationists.
I mean, I put under what is the main goal of your collection. I
Yeah.
put nostalgia, showing off, speculation, or preservation, which is not a thing. You are not collecting to preserve anything. And this comes down to I've had this mindset. It's this thing where it's like, if I own all the good games, they'll always be there and no one can take them away from me. And it's like, dude, PS2torrents.com or whatever is gonna have all those games for you forever. It will not matter if they're on your shelf or not. You are not preserving anything unless you are like part of whatever that like redump is. Is that an actual project you could be a part of where they're taking all of the discs that have ever been made and they're dumping them and getting like checksum data for all of them and preserving them? Unless you're part of a project like that, you are not preserving games from having them on your shelf, and the games will still be there and it will be fine even if you don't own them. You have to be okay with knowing something is cool and then not owning it.
I mean, most people just don't know what real preservation looks like, including me. Like, I'm not out here. Look, we've all been like, oh yeah, I've like keeping we've got them protected. No, like we've talked about that before. Just get over this as an idea. Again, you might be here as your collection and investment. That's fine if that's how you feel about it. Whatever. Is it some combination of investment plus nostalgia because you learned that you loved Nintendo when you were a kid. Now you're here and you're like, oh man. And people are actually like putting money into these and they're going up in value. I could do some of that and it feels safe because you already like it. I get it. That's fine. I'll find reasons, but really identify what you're doing. And it's fine if what you're doing is just personal enjoyment too. Like you are just like out there in the weeds. Me with all the dumb Halloween stuff, I'm so far in the weeds. This is just like, I like Halloween. I like all this stuff. I like learning about it, knowing all this dumb. To talk about buying all of the worst games, man, this last couple of months has been an exercise in holy shit, what games exist? Might I actually pay for these? I don't know. It's some real questionable behavior on my part. But I have enjoyed the whole trip, and I've also been documenting, even when I didn't buy it. I've enjoyed documenting and just knowing that they exist and like writing it into my little Airtable, getting my notes on it, getting pictures. So be comfortable with that. And we've talked about this as an idea too. Like sometimes if you don't want to just spend money, but you want to like feel like you're connected to video games, just go pick one thing and document it. Like just be like, okay, you know what? How many people know about Star Tropics 1 and 2? Who are all the Star Tropics people? Do people know about like, is there a PAL copy? Do we have good pictures of all the maps and everything? I don't know. I'm going to be the guy who like looks at all the Star Tropics and I'm going to be this weirdo. It's not like a lot, but you could spend a day or two really going hard at Star Tropics and learn a lot and be suddenly a guy who knows more than most people about Star Tropics.
And that doing stuff like that is what like actual preservation is. And I realize, Star Tropic variants, that's not something that needs to be preserved. Who cares? That's video game collector minutia. But every time I look up some obscure like PC 88 Japanese computer game, and there's like an in-depth like 40-minute YouTube video on it, probably by Basement Brothers, or like a blog post, and it's just like, who even knows this game exists? And like this one guy is the only English guy who has ever discussed this game. And like everything I know about this game now comes from this one blog post. If you could find games that are kind of interesting that essentially no one has ever played, like has just been completely lost to time, that's the kind of stuff that's cool to make YouTube videos and write about.
Man, Tyler, I got a game. Awesome. I got a Halloween game for you this year that you are just going to be like, what is this? And let me tell you, do you know how many YouTube videos I found on it?
Is it none?
None. But I did find one video from a Japanese forum about it.
Cool.
One.
I just watched a video. There's like a 70-year-old man who made video games for years in like a Game Maker engine. It was like Game Maker Studio or one of these things. And his first game was just called something like Shoot Bin Laden. And you just go into a cave and just like shoot up Al Qaeda. And that's the game. And then it was his history of his little solo free indie games. Like no one has ever heard of any of these games unless you're in like the super niche indie game community. And like obviously this is the only video about this kind of stuff. And it's super cool to like just see this weird history of video games that no one has ever heard of. Nobody needs a fucking video about The Last of Us. Nobody needs a video about BioShock. No one needs a video about how great the design of Super Mario Brothers 1 is.
Hold on. The truth about The Last of Us, Tyler, a video by Johnny Iucci. If I see one more of the truth of anything video or an honest opinion about BioShock, and you're just like,
okay, a retrospective of The Last of Us 1 and 2, how narrative in video games changed forever.
I like that. Like video essays at least are a little more interesting. Like, oh, I can pick some from. But when you really bullshit that title up, an honest opinion about BioShock, like everyone else has been lying or something. Like, oh, have the media been lying to us? So now I got to find out what this honest guy says. And he's just like, you know what? It is really fucking good. It is as good as everybody else says it is. Those videos make me want to kill myself. I just like.
Yeah, Johnny, you work a desk job. You know what? If your livelihood depended on people clicking your YouTube video, you would use the stupid clickbait because it works. It doesn't work on us, but the vast majority of people are dumb and they click dumb titles.
Man, I used, you saw, I uploaded finally to YouTube some of the older last year's Halloween videos that I didn't get out, and I let I'm like, I'll lean into some more clickbaity titles for these shorts to see if that helps them, and it did on a few of them, and I like the more clickbaity it was, the more clicks it got, and I just felt real gross about it.
That's what you got to do. You got to play the game.
I don't want to. That's a game I don't like. I like old games. I told you, Tyler. Anyways, tell me about this thing that you said before the show. Again, coming back to like collection spread and like just about the hobby in general and how it is both wide, but there is this bit of narrowed view on it. You said something that sounded really smart in our pre-talk, and I want you to come back to it.
It's this idea. And I've brought it up more, and I don't know if it's because I believe it more or I just like the sound of me saying my own idea. In the future, will we have video game collecting, or is it going to be Nintendo collecting? And I said that there's this monoculture around Nintendo games where if you start collecting video games, there is a huge chance that part of your collecting spread, is this a real word, collecting spread? This is not a good term. Part of your knowledge area in video game collecting is going to be NES rarities. It's going to be Super Nintendo rarities. You're going to know what the good stuff on GameCube is. It's just like a given. You might not even know, like, you couldn't name like 10 good Sega Genesis games, but you probably know that, like, all right, yeah, like Super Mario Brothers 3, people really like that, and maybe I should be keeping an eye out for Little Samson at Goodwill. And
I know all about Cubivore for some reason.
And fucking Cubivore, of course.
I've never heard about Musha though. I've like, what? And that's not like some obscure Genesis game, right? That was like the Grail game. You're like, I've never heard of Musha, but let me tell you about Cubivore and Disney sports basketball. What?
Man. Disney Sport, dude. GameCube is having its moment. I don't think we talked about this yet. This goes into the Nintendo monoculture thing. You know the YouTuber Cake Hoarder, right?
I do.
He, honestly, I see the stuff he's interested in. Like, he usually is interested in, like, pretty interesting, rare stuff. Like, his tastes, I think, align with mine, but he's also, on the more modern side, he definitely loves his things like N64 and GameCube. He opened a video game store very recently. Huge mistake. Why would you open a video game store? What are you, crazy? And then he, on his first day, he showed like his inventory software. It had an accounting of his sales, and it was like 2/3 of the sales that he made was just GameCube games. We are in the GameCube era. We were talking about a GameCube sold for $55,000, a freaking Wind Waker sold for like $17,000. Like, the kids want Wind Waker, Johnny.
I mean, but he's also known for GameCube, so I think if anyone's going to walk into his store, there's a lot of biasing towards GameCube because those people know, and his store is going to have a bias towards that because he knows a lot about GameCube, right? So, you know.
I mean, come on. If you're gonna say what's the hottest system to collect right now, what would you say?
Ooh, the Switch.
Okay, good answer. Good.
I-
Whoa, golf clap for that. But GameCube is up there. I mean, I don't think it's just because GameCube fans are his audience.
I'm saying there's multiple biases coming to play. Like his audience knows that he's into GameCube. He is also into GameCube. So I think some of the good stuff that he will have to buy because he can identify it. We talked about this a little bit before offline that, you know, he can identify what good GameCube games are. So he can probably go out and find deals on them and then sell those for a profit, right?
I mean, yes, but if you're owning a video game store, like you got to be getting those Pokemon games. You got to be getting stuff that people want to buy. That's not just GameCube games, because eventually your customers are going to complete their GameCube sets.
I agree, and that's why I don't think this is great for him. I think but maybe he's a wild generalist outside of that, but he just knows who his audience is. I don't know. I've never talked to Cake Hoarder. I don't know him personally or anything like that. I just know that sometimes he shows off GameCube stuff that I'm like, somebody else knows about this dumb fucking GameCube game. That's interesting. So I take a note that someone else out there exists that's like this. And his audience he's got reach. So he's fucking up things for me when I'm trying to get all my weird GameCube exclusives.
So, Johnny, this is a video game store that just opened. YouTube influencer. If you guys don't know, this guy has like 500,000 followers. He's like, in terms of video game collecting influencers, that's enormous. So yes. This is like, I'm going to call this the state of the art of regular game collecting. Look around this store, and I don't think you'll be surprised. Like, you could go on YouTube. He's got plenty of videos about it. You can go look at the inventory. I don't think you'll be surprised that there are no Atari games. I don't think you're going to be surprised that there are no computer games. There are no Sega games in this store. This is a video game store with even a focus on old video games, and there's no Sega Master System, there's no Genesis, there's no Sega CD, no Saturn, no Dreamcast. It's just Nintendo games, and then there's like a PlayStation and Xbox section. And I just think it's so... I couldn't imagine walking into a video game store, like, let's say, 5 years ago, and there just not being a single Sega game in the store. Editing Tyler update here. Cake Hoarder posted a recent walkthrough of the store, and there were like 6 Sega Genesis games and actually a few Sega Master System games under the counter. But it is pretty minimal.
It is a weird idea. Hey, question for you. Is Xbox the next Sega?
Absolutely. That's the other thing. Now no one seriously thinks that the Xbox brand is like a strong video game brand right now, right? And Xbox was never collectible to begin with. Xbox has always been the weakest collecting console, except for the one interesting collectible Xbox game, which is that weird Psychonauts release on the Xbox One, which is apparently extremely rare. I love that. That's so weird. But besides that, Xbox is essentially trash to collect. And yeah, you could talk about, it's so cheap for so many good games. Great, go get Xbox. It's still a crappy brand to collect. If you're going to buy Xbox, like, you're probably buying Xbox 360 and Xbox. Like, people collect PS5 games. Do you know someone collecting Xbox One games or Xbox Series X games? God forbid. I've never seen anyone collect Xbox Series X games.
I don't know anybody collecting Series X, but I do know a few Series S guys. They're really no, I have no idea, Tyler.
So in the Get the Greg Discord, there was an auction.
Before you get to that, I have a quick question. Do you know the difference between a Series S and a Series X?
The Series S is for poor people somehow. Probably doesn't have a disk drive or something.
Yeah, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. Xbox One and Xbox One X. Is Xbox One X like the Xbox One Pro?
I believe so.
All right. See, yeah, I got it. I know my Xboxes. If you asked me to draw an Xbox One, an Xbox One X, and an Xbox Series X, I could not draw them. They all look like rectangles to me, as far as I know, like PC towers almost.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know if I've ever seen an Xbox Series X.
I don't know if I've seen. I've seen an X because I own an X. I don't know if I've seen an S.
This is a current console, Johnny. They are so confident in their brand, they just increased prices on Xbox consoles. Also, it's really funny because in the price increase, like the blog posts, they're like, here's everything that's increasing in price. All the Xbox consoles are going up. And it's like, it's a table of like 7 consoles. It's like, what, you're telling me all these Xbox consoles are still on shelves? Are people still buying Xbox Ones? What is going on?
I don't know. Anyways, right. Tyler, in the Get the Greg Discord, you saw some stuff.
There was like a Sega focused auction, and no one said anything for a while when like Greg was trying to get people into his stream, and then the first comment was someone who just said Sega with the shrug emoji, and I'm like, wow, does that ever describe what a lot of people think about Sega now?
Poor Sega. And Sonic is as popular as he's ever been. He's like at a height of popularity right now. But people can't attach Sega over to Sonic anymore. He's just Sonic.
Oh man, is Sonic bigger as a brand than the entire Sega brand? That would be crazy.
I mean, I believe so, right? There's no Sega brand without Sonic. And Sonic is just... You know, Sonic has movies and stuff, and like, and there's a general, like, those movies were well received. Lots of people love them. Kids are going to grow up with some nostalgia for these Sonic movies. And, but those kids aren't growing up being like, Sega! Like, they're not doing that.
Yeah. To be clear, in that Sega auction, a lot of stuff sold for some really high prices. I'm not saying Sega is dead. I'm just saying... I think the outlook for Sega is probably the outlook for Yu-Gi-Oh! Compared to Nintendo being Pokemon. And I don't think any people in the long term are like, you know what people are going to want in 20 years is a Blue Eyes White Dragon, guys.
I mean, maybe they are. I hesitate to say anything about collectible card games because the whole world is crazy. Who knows what's going to happen?
And they never have slumps, am I right?
No,
it's
never,
definitely
ever.
not a market that goes up and down.
No. Hey, you want to play some Magic the Gathering Spider-Man with me?
I don't.
Oh.
Isn't it that's like 110 cards and like 20 of them are Spider-Man? It's like there's a ridiculous number of Spider-Man to non-Spider-Man cards in that set, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the set of Spider-Man, but it's like it's all the Spider-Man from the multiverse, so it's not just like Spider-Man.
I want to be excited. I want to be excited to pull like Spider-Man, but it's gonna happen so often. Like, I don't think there's a SpongeBob set.
No, like getting amazing or getting like spectacular Spider-Man does not happen that often. Like, I think he's a mythic.
What's the spectacular Spider-Man?
I don't know. He's like a white 3-cost card, I think. I don't know. I didn't pull it.
But I mean, what is he in the Spider-Man canon? Is he like the real Spider-Man from Earth, whatever the regular Earth is in the Marvel universe?
Yeah, I think so. Or Amazing Spider-Man.
I mean, Amazing Spider-man makes more sense to me, but Spectacular Spider-Man is...
One of these two. I'm just conflating the two, but you know, I'm saying you do pull some Spider-Man, but it's not like 1980s Spider-Man that we grew up with that we're pulling. Okay?
All right.
Whatever. I did pull Spider-Man in the symbiote suit, and I felt cool about that.
I didn't grow up with any Spider-Man whatsoever, Johnny.
No. Well, they did a really cool version of Reanimate with him coming out of the grave in the black symbiote suit from the Kraven the Hunter line that I love.
We're getting into After Dark. We're going to just talk about Magic the Gathering for 30 minutes. No one wants this. I don't even play it.
Yeah, very exciting. Anyways, Tyler, what are our takeaways from Collection Spread? Because I think we can wrap this conversation. We don't have too much more to say about this. It's just this idea that collecting changed not just because people got more focused, but it's the idea that they had to change because there's too much. It's too much to take in now. And it's going to keep going that way until we have a drastic event, which snaps people back into the idea that maybe they could own everything. If that ever happens. And I don't know if it can.
There will be that event. So it's going to be the end of physical media, and they're not going to want to own everything. They're going to want to own every Nintendo game. And I think, you'll have your crazy people like Corey who do want to own everything. But I mean, it's going to happen. That's going to be the new set. That's going to snap everyone back into their collecting spread. Everyone's going to be like, oh man, well now this is a limited thing where there's only so much. I'm wondering how many people will just think like, oh, well, this category of collecting is not going to go anywhere because how excited can we maintain people without novelty that's constantly coming into the market, and then it's just going to slowly stagnate and die. But I mean, in the immediate short term, I do think people will want to collect everything.
Oh yeah, it will boom, and then it might bust out, a year later.
Also, for anyone who thinks that video games are going to stagnate and die once there's no more new releases coming out, one, yeah, you're probably right. I think people will be less interested in collecting overall, but oh my God, look at all the stuff me and Johnny collect. Just like, I learn about new games I didn't know existed every single week. There are just so many video games. There's so many weird, old, rare video games. Again, you can't keep them all in your head. There are too many that you could possibly know just from 1970 through 2025. We will be fine in terms of novelty and things to be excited about. Instead of something new coming out from Limited Run Games, we'll just have to be excited when there's a Metal Jesus video on an Atari 5200 game. Great example, Tyler. You really clutched that example.
Yes. I learned about 2 new video games at the start of us talking tonight by accident, Tyler. By accident, I learned about 2 games I'd never heard of. I told you about one of them, that stupid Drunken Fist 2.
I feel like these indie games don't count. Like, yes, you could learn about some stupid indie game. I need it to be a real game. And like a real indie game counts, but like if you like farted something out in an afternoon in the Unity engine, I'm not counting that as a video game.
No,
anyone would ever hold in their brain.
This is not that. This is an old like Apple computer game.
Okay, so a real video game.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, for Windows 3.1 or higher. And on your Macintosh, it requires 4 megabits of RAM and system 6.07 or later. Anyways.
Well, Johnny.
That's a real game. The point was, I learned about 2 games that I did not know existed literally at the very start of us starting to talk about games by accident, just because they popped up into my feed. And that's not to talk about the over 100 games I learned about this week. So, still learning about a thing I already know quite a bit about, which is crazy.
Well, Johnny, maybe consider limiting the scope of your collecting to own some maybe more interesting stuff.
Maybe I will. Or maybe I want to be known as the Halloween guy, and I go harder at this so I can point at a giant wall full of Halloween games and be like, guys, this is it. Every Halloween game ever created.
I need you to start including gameplay footage in your YouTube shorts to catalog all this.
I'm not including gameplay footage. There's a 3-minute short.
That's a long.
No, it's...
Kids don't watch anything longer than 30 seconds. What are you talking about? That's long.
The shorts are up to 3 minutes. All my videos aren't all 3 minutes.
All right. Leave a comment in our web zone if you think Johnny should include gameplay footage on every single YouTube short he makes.
Hey, if someone wants to record gameplay footage for me and upload it, sweet. Let's work together.
How many fewer shorts would you make if you had to record gameplay footage for each of them?
I would make a third as many.
So then it's worth it.
No, I'm not trying to get popular. I'm just trying to show some cool games I bought. It's so frustrating.
Every time I watch one of your YouTube shorts, literally I get 10 seconds in and then I click off your short and I look up what the game is. I swear to God, I do that every time you have a YouTube short. I'm like, oh, here's a game.
I understand.
I guess I gotta look it up.
This is just me showing off what I like from It's the extension of Instagram. You know what I used to do? I just wanted to show you a fucking picture of the goddamn thing, not have to make a video about it to put eyeballs on it. Now it's like, well, I guess video makes more sense. Let me show people and I can talk a little bit more because nobody fucking reads the description below. So people are like, what is this game about? Could you tell me about it? It's like, okay, let me tell you about it. Now you're like, and now show me gameplay footage. Fine, get out there and get me gameplay footage. You volunteered, you're doing it. I'll send you my list of games. Let's get this done.
No, I already edited the episode.
No.
Also, I don't steal people's gameplay footage whenever possible. I record my own gameplay footage, which is an even bigger pain in the ass. But I don't want to get like copyright struck or anything. So Johnny, you have to actually record all of your own gameplay footage.
Oh, God damn it. I can't.
Let's do it. Bust out that FFmpeg.
Okay. I've got my screen capture software here. I did upload one game with video footage. Did you watch it?
Which one?
It wasn't a short. It was a long, Tyler.
Oh, it was a long?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it it was on the Collector's Quest account? Subscribe to the Collector's Quest podcast on YouTube. We have, 994 subscribers. That's more than I thought. Oh, that's probably from your old YouTube thing though, right?
Yeah, it's part of it, but we grew quite a bit since we put the podcast on here. Oh, people do watch and comment on our YouTube videos.
I will never read any of your comments on YouTube. Anyone listening to this on YouTube right now, I cannot. If you ever create anything, and especially I mean, there's only so much time that goes into a podcast, but I can't have people just be like, man, this podcast fucking sucks and you guys are wrong. And I just, it's too mentally taxing to read any comment on anything I
take all of the hits for us. Tyler does not address these accounts at all. You're always talking to me on any social media. Okay. Including our Patreon.
Get me on Discord.
On Discord. Yes, on Discord. But I'm saying like all the outside ones, that's all me. You're talking to me, and messages that need to go to Tyler get communicated by message from me to Tyler. Anyways, I did it for produce, Tyler. You can see this. That was me dabbling in if I wanted to do gameplay footage. And you can go.
No, I swear to God, I watched the beginning of that and then I clicked off to go look up produce gameplay footage. Johnny, do you not understand how the Gen Alpha brain works? You need the gameplay footage on screen the entire time you're talking. You don't need to be talking about the gameplay footage. You just need something for their stupid, fried Gen Alpha brains to look at that is like jangling keys in front of them while you're talking about something, because they have to be doing 2 or 3 things at the same time. So none of this, I put video game footage at the end of my YouTube short after a minute of me talking. No, it's got to be on at all times.
It's 10 seconds in.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
All right, I'm talking about a different short. I'm going through your short right now, and there was no gameplay footage.
I'm pasting the link. It's not a short. I said it's a long.
Oh, well, that doesn't count then. That's something different.
Look.
No, you see, you waited 10 seconds. People are going to scroll past. If this was a short, they're not going to wait 10 seconds. Also, no, the title screen does not count. You need to at least get onto level 1. Oh my God, we're getting a minute into the video. I still don't know what the gameplay looks like.
This is what the gameplay the gameplay footage in this is horrible.
It doesn't matter. This horrible gameplay footage that I had to spend 90 seconds before you actually got into the turn-based dungeon crawler RPG. That's what we need on screen. Because you know what? Essentially, the gameplay of this game does not matter. No one is ever going to play Produce for the PC 88. Unless, again, the Basement Brothers probably played it. But the thing that makes this interesting is the art. People like, when they're collecting old computer games that they're definitely not going to play, they like looking at the art. They like how the entire UI of the game is like a heart and you're looking through the heart valves. It's like just really weird and gory. And that's cool. And I just want to look at that for 30 seconds while you wave your box in front of my face.
Okay. I'm going to wave my box in front of your face more often.
God damn it. All right.
All right. So juvenile. And anyways, look, you're not wrong. I don't have, there's so many things I don't have time for. Anyways, that's it for our topic today, talking about spread.
You know what? Talking about spread, Johnny, I think that we used to do this podcast every week, which is insane to think about. I don't know how we had that schedule, But you know what? I think having it every other week lets it be higher quality, and maybe having one in every 3 YouTube shorts with that gameplay footage on it would be higher quality.
Okay. I will take your suggestion. I will think about it as I do sometimes and see if I can make that happen. Also, the problem is I like when you record a short, like it's hard to get video game footage into it. Video game footage is a rectangle, and shorts they want you to be, they want it horizontal, not vertical.
But you only need it taking up like a third of the screen, and then you have your beautiful face. Kids will just put their face all the way up to the phone and be like, "What are these flashing dots down here?"
Yeah.
Is that Subway Surfers?
I also said that backwards. They want your shorts to be vertical and video game footage horizontal. Anyways, I was going to talk about some stuff that may or may not count for Halloween, but I don't even think we need to go in it. Just Halloween is coming up. You guys get excited for all this stuff. Produce is a weird game that you just heard us wax on about, but yeah, it is a weird RPG-esque game where you have aligned with a demon and you take your friends into this haunted fucking house, and your goal is to get them to the top of it. So, because you're in love with this girl who's not really that into you. She's in love with your other friend. So you've made a pact with this demon. And if you get them to the top and you do it just right, you think he will kill him for you and make her fall in love with you. So cool. And it's done through like the weirdest gameplay screen footage ever. It's very weird. Anyways.
Cool.
So,
Johnny,
go check out Produce.
I will check out your YouTube short of it.
Yep.
Should I get a question that people had for the podcast?
You should definitely do that.
Two Consoles Too Late asks, I'm in this long, slow process of collecting PS1 long box games. I'm keeping an itemized spreadsheet to keep track of the actual cost of buying the whole collection outright on eBay for $5,000 I don't have. Good news here in our hypothetical situation, we dumped you. We just said you have no games and you have $5,000. So in our hypothetical situation, you do have $5,000. I just acquired a lot of 3 games, Assault Rigs, Descent, and DEFCON 5 for $50. Does keeping spreadsheets enhance or detract from collecting games or anything for that matter?
Keeping spreadsheets enhances collecting games. What are we talking about?
That's the hobby. Like keeping all your data organized and like pouring through like nerdy stuff, like and looking at like, oh, prices I got it for and like what's it worth now and what am I selling it for? Like that stuff is
You just discovered the secret sauce, my man. This is it. You make a list and then like put a price and where you bought it from and then see how it changed. Ooh, and having all that information organized that you can go back and reference. Woo.
Like you've got the prices of the games you don't even have yet, so you can like look at that and like target games based on like the prices that are in your spreadsheet already.
Oh, you're doing it. That is, yeah, man, it to me, like you said, Tyler, it's like he found the hobby. This is it. You opened a clam and found a pearl.
The only hard part with the spreadsheet is I have wanted to change the format too many times. I've been collecting a long time, I guess, but I basically alter between wanting all of the information, including like pictures of everything, which I think is the ultimate, and I want it to be literally just game title, do I have it, and notes, because I want it to be as absolutely fast as possible to enter it into my spreadsheet. And I don't know what the best way of doing it is. But man, if you have something that works for you, yeah, spreadsheets are the best, because you just go in your spreadsheet and just like mess around. You're like, oh, I'm just going to like build out these subsets in my spreadsheet. I'm just going to like set up all these filters. Now, oh, heck, I filtered all the PAL subset from my NES games, or I filtered out this unlicensed set from Sega Genesis. Oh man, you could mess around in spreadsheets forever. It's the best.
Man,
and you don't have to spend any money to do it. That's even better. It's a way to do hobby stuff without just going on eBay and being like, oh, buy it now.
I'm like messing around in this Airtable for all the Halloween games, and I'm like dragging in pictures, and I'm like so excited that I've got pictures. And then you've got ways to group it, like when you put series and like throws all the series together, and you can slice it and dice it in so many different ways. And like, okay, show me all the ones I put this tag in about. And it's, man, like being in a spreadsheet or like an Airtable is the best. Just it's the most fun you can have in the hobby without playing a video game.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Also, that keeping track of like prices that you bought stuff for. If you keep receipts, which I know you're probably not going to, I don't know. Does the IRS, if you just had a good record of your purchase price, is that good enough? But like that matters when you go to sell your games when you're doing your taxes. So
Yeah.
For a long time, basically eBay was not sending you tax forms unless you sold like $20,000 or some ridiculous amount. But that lowered not too recently, but it's like $800 now or something. So like you actually have to do eBay taxes.
Yeah,
now.
it's dumb.
Also, we're like out of questions, so like go to the Ask the Podcast in the Discord and go ask us more questions. And since there's no questions now, it won't take us like 4 months to get to your questions.
Oh yeah, woof! We finally did it.
But we do have one more from Final Fight CD, and it is related to something we've already talked about. Johnny, if you had to open a video game store, what? Nope.
Oh no.
What would you be doing to succeed?
Okay. Well, if I was going to open a video game store, okay, man, it is hard. I would have to be out there grinding because you need to be getting inventory in at, like you have to be making 30%, 20 to 30% on each game you bring in. So you have to be out there at conventions. I would probably have to have a store, and then I would have to be really pushing myself into conventions out there buying, because you need opportunity. If you just set up a shop and like hope that inventory walks in, that's going to work out for a little while until it doesn't. So you're going to have to find a way to consistently bring in inventory, and conventions and traveling for that is a good way to do it. And that's why you see people do it. Also, I would 100% be online. Like, the idea of actually opening a physical store, I don't even know if that's a good idea anymore, unless you can back it up with a huge online.
I do. It's not a good idea. Just sell online. What?
Yeah. But he said we're opening a store. I'm just answering in good faith to what was asked of us. Not like, don't open a store. That's the easy thing, which you and I both agree on. Don't open a video game store. But yeah, I would be doing that, and I would be really creating a good online portal to sell my games, and like not beyond, like I would be in eBay. I would have probably Mercari and Amazon set up. I would be having all kinds of things, making it as easy as I could to ship video games. Like I would have designated box types for just about everything. I probably wouldn't offer much combined shipping. I would sell all my stuff online with free shipping, so I never have to combine shipping, and I can always just justify putting it in like one or two games per thing. Yeah, I would just be streamlining that as much as possible. And then I would also be looking at whether grading stuff actually, when it's appropriate, when things come in, to actually grade it, and if that can make me money, I would have to be looking at that, because I think the widest margins are still there, is finding a raw copy of something that you can flip as a good grade. Puts in a lot of money.
But like a lot of people already do that, but no one does that in person, because you're never going to find a buyer for a graded game in person. The market is way too small.
No. I would definitely, that's what I'm saying. I'd be on eBay or in the auctions 100%. You have to, for exactly that thing. Your market is too small. And then the other thing I would do is like I would try to become a Pokemon distributor and hope that pays for my rent, so I could actually do the thing I love, which is sell games.
All right, Johnny, what? Hold on. So let's see. A store is like 1,500 square feet for like a strip mall store. A cheap store would be $20 per square foot per year. So what's rent? $30,000 a year. That price is not correct. Oh, wait, $30,000 a year? Does that make sense for rent? Yeah. So what? We're talking like $3,000 a month for rent, plus you got an employee. Honestly, you got to be the only guy working there, right? Because like you can't afford to be paying $15 an hour for someone to be selling like what, a couple GameCube games?
I mean, and that depends where you are. Like in California, to get something of like that size, you're going to pay more like $3,000 to $5,000 a month. So you're looking at like up to 60, or I know people who pay over $100,000 in rent for their stores. Like,
But they're selling cards, which people come in weekly and buy lots of because
and
cards are crazy.
are a lot fucking smaller, Tyler. They take up way less room.
And it's easy to get inventory because what people
Yeah.
want is the stuff you just buy from your supplier.
Yes. Like fucking games are hard. And like you look at all these Game Stops that were like in malls and they were basically like the size of 3 kiosks pushed into a room. And you're just like, how does this store survive? And then put 2 employees in there. No idea how they make any money.
Yeah. I mean, so the way you would make money is maybe you sell like a copy of Mario Duck Hunt and then the rest of it is Pokemon and sports cards. No, I think if you're forcing me to do this, the way I would want to do it is we're only going to carry like 8 out of 10 and maybe 7 out of 10 and up games. It's only going to be nice games.
Ooh, you're going to be a specialty shop. I like it.
I think a lot of places do this. So I think like when you trade games into whoever has the app, it's like Chase After the Right Price or Phoenix Resale. They only want excellent condition games because that's the only thing collectors want. No one wants a busted game at all. Like if there's a ripped label, it's going to sit in the shop forever and make your shop look like crap. I'm going to carry a wide variety of shit. And I'm going to see if I could pull the Tylers of the world off the internet into my shop. And I won't be able to because I think retail video games are impossible. But I think it's crazy that Cake Hoarder doesn't even have like an Atari 2600 cartridge section or like just a bunch of like some Famicom cartridges. It's like you could literally get this inventory. You could spend like $100 on some Atari games, $100 on some Famicom games, like nothing. And it would make your shop look more stocked and more interesting and have more stuff for people to dig through. Even if no one ever buys those fucking Atari games and no one ever buys those Famicom cartridges. I think people do this on, there's probably more of this in the West Coast, but like I would just do what Mike Pitts does. I would buy all these complete in box Famicom, Super Famicom stuff. Just like the most common known Chrono Trigger, Mario RPG, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World. Just like nice stuff and just like mark it up like 5x because people just see, oh wow, I can get a Super Mario World complete in box for $60 and people will buy it. Have a wide variety of really nice stuff. And I'd probably just price it all above market because that's what game stores do. And when the Tylers of the world walk in, I don't really care what the market price is if it's like super nice and right in front of me. So, and no, I'll just sell GameCube games. What am I talking about, Johnny?
Do you think is there room where we could do something like make a super high end shop, like, and that be where we just grind and we actually get something nice and then just do grades and we just have some small specialty boutique shop where we only have the best stuff ever?
So Johnny, you do have you this is a weird example for you because you have an excellent video game store near you. There is nothing like Game Dude in the entire fucking state of North Carolina. But I can't tell you the last time I went to a video game store in person, which is why I would think starting a video game store is crazy because I'm a fairly serious video game collector and I don't go to physical game stores anymore. So there's no business plan that would bring me into a game store because I just don't go to game stores. And no, I don't think that a boutique high-end thing, no matter where you have it, I think an online guy would beat you every time. Because like you're losing $5,000 in overhead a month to have some weird boutique game store.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think you can take in buys and stuff and then create a pipeline where you get rid of all the common stuff and you don't actually keep that big of a shop. You keep like a small store and you mainly do all of your stuff online. But you can have a shop where things could come and be seen. Like, like you see like super high-end bookstores where they only have like 25 books in there, but they are all like beautiful, immaculate, super expensive books. And they come in and it's kind of like a curated experience where you bring people from, they travel to you sometimes because the games are so expensive, or you travel out to them.
Again, there are guys who do that online, like, Near One. I have no idea who that guy is, but very clearly he buys the best condition, like NES and SNES stuff off eBay and just marks it up like 10x. He's like, oh, you want a copy of Zelda with the shrink wrap? Yeah, I've got it for $800. Yeah. And like his stuff sits at buy it now on eBay. But if you want the nice copy of like good stuff, like he probably has it in stock at a crazy price.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's like I don't know that's like an alternate idea. I think you could maybe make that work, but like I'm not talking $800 games either. I think like you aren't touching games that you can't sell for under $1,000. It's not worth your time.
You want to have a game store that only sells $1,000 video games?
Yeah, that's why I said like a high end. Like we're talking.
I thought high end meant like, oh, we're gonna have Cubivore for you.
No, I mean you would have a graded Cubivore, baby.
Just no one's. Maybe we get some Redditors who come in, take pictures, and like make fun of us. Maybe.
But again, your clientele wouldn't be like the average video game. It wouldn't be like, oh, I'm the guys come in that like you would have like a side door that says like we buy games, and then the front of your store would just be like these 20 beautiful games behind glass, and you know it's just like basically so you can have a physical address for your store. And really, like you've seen these stores like some jewelry stores where it's just like a couple things, but really you can tell they just sell everything online, and they just have like a big thing in the back where they're like doing work repairing jewelry and stuff or making jewelry, and then it goes out in different ways.
I guess. I mean, this exists. If we went to Midwest Gaming Classic or Portland, there would be the high-end guy who has, I don't know, 50 nice graded games or something. And guess what? There's 10,000 nerds swarming around this entire convention, and everyone is skipping over his fucking booth because the market is too niche. Even when there's 10,000 people, no one is like, oh, I really got to look at these graded Nintendo games.
Well, I mean, I think even then, like these 10,000 people, that's still a very small subset of the people who actually buy games. And that's why you have to be online, because like, if that's your market is so small. But again, like we talked about the people in the graded game auctions, like the in Heritage, like these same 5 people who are bidding over all the best stuff. Imagine you are just the people who have the best stuff.
I want to see how long Kate Quarter makes it. Like, I want to see if this is a successful business, because I simply don't understand how a game store that sells like regular complete in box video games, even in a world where like GameCube games are $100 each, I don't understand how foot traffic could keep that in business. So if he does it, I'm super curious what he does that we don't know how to do, because we're obviously not game store owners, Johnny.
No, people make it work because game stores exist. Like we know it works because they're there. Yeah, I don't know.
You know, we're not good at running a game store, but you know what I think we are great? We're great museum curators. I think that's cool. What we would really excel at is opening a video game museum that people really want to come to.
Do you want to start that now with me, or like what do you want to do?
You know what? I think if we just got enough World of Nintendo signs and like a copy of Stadium Events, like I think we get like the whole tri-state area involved in this.
I don't know. What if I just decided to buy like 20,000 games and then just be like, these could all go in a museum. People really want to see this, because I had a few friends who really like video games come in and be like, bro, your collection is sick. There's all these video games are awesome. Like, I bet you have every game, dude. This is fuck. You should like have a museum. You know, that's how this has happened. This is how the idea got wormed in these dummies' brains. Stop it.
What was it? Jeppy's in Baltimore? I mean, that's what Jeppy's kind of was. It was like you walked into this museum and it was his personal, mostly comic book collection. And you just walk in and it's like, what the fuck? Look at all these comic books. Oh my God. And it was kind of awesome. This could be like a thing in Vegas. Just like, I don't know, $20. You could come and look at this, like, just look at 20,000 video games. I don't know. People do anything for $20 in Vegas. That's cheap.
It's true. It's true. All right, Tyler. Let's talk about the best thing we saw in the Discord.
Josh Byerly got a $20 box of Atari tapes at a garage sale. The cardboard box literally says Atari tapes, which is just so charming. I love it. That is exactly what I would call them, ironically, and this is unironic. And it's all the Atari stuff. It's Haunted House and Home Run and Casino and Space Invaders and Indy 500. It's the most generic, boring Atari line. It's an adventure, a couple first prints. No one is going to consider this good. But you know what? If I went out to a garage sale today, 2025, and I came home with 25 complete in box Atari 2600 games, that's the best garage sale of my decade.
It's true. It's true. The best thing I saw was a Box Charamara Kid Icarus lunchbox. That was pretty good. But we can talk about that later. Yeah.
Okay. We got to stop saying that we got the best stuff. That doesn't make people feel
I'm
good.
not saying. I'm just saying that that's pretty cool, and I like it. You also know I'm a fan of Kid Icarus. Bird Dog showed off a nice Deal Tavern pool in his BMX Tricky Racer, and Gallum had a nice control box. I feel like we're a little light on the good stuff this time around.
Yeah, post more junk in the Discord.
Yeah. I want to see these games. Show me your games. Like, you guys get games every freaking day, like, or maybe every week. Like, put some games in here. It doesn't matter if it's awesome or not. Like, I legitimately like seeing what people buy. Show it to me. This is my new Instagram, because Instagram is trash and unusable now.
Save yourself from Meta before he makes us all wear glasses, and then everyone's walking around with glasses, recording everything and sending it to Mark Zuckerberg. Guys, you guys want to talk about this? We want to talk about the state of surveillance?
Marquez Brownlee said the new Meta glasses were actually pretty cool, and he was shocked.
Yeah, they look fucking awesome, except that I have to become a slave to Meta to use them.
Did you watch the same video I watched?
No, I just know. Like, of course I want magic glasses that tell me everything without me having to look at a phone. I want to be able to walk around and play chess. I swear to God, number one reason I want AR glasses, I want to be able to go on like my daily walk and play chess in my glasses while I'm walking. And you literally used to be able to do this in 2010 with the original Google Glass. And every other solution since the original Google Glass has been 100 times more clunky. I want to play goddamn chess, but I don't want to have to be like connected with an account to the internet, constantly sending all my data to be able to do that. So,
I mean, I think video game people are just so conditioned. It's like, you mean you want to walk around with a heads-up display? Kinda, yeah. A lot of useful information, just walking through scanning shit. All right, sounds great.
You know what? I think it was Mr. Rightway. YouTube recommended a video that I didn't watch, but he was saying that the Meta glasses are changing the state of shopping for video games, and these aren't out yet, right? But he was, I guess, speculating.
Well, there is a version that's out now, but this is the one that actually has like the video in the eye.
But
you can see.
All right, so once these are widespread, we're talking like not like some limited release early adopter, the Apple $3,000 headset thing.
No, this is like $800, like coming to market soon. Yeah.
Once real people have this, imagine the state of like video game collection conventions, sports card conventions, things like that, where people are just like looking through things, or like looking through a bin of comics, and you have like your heads up display immediately telling you when you're flipping past something underpriced. It's like you're never going to find a deal anywhere anymore after these things are widespread. Because right now, you have to basically look like an asshole if you're like scanning UPCs on the back of DVDs looking for something that's worth $70 on eBay. Like, you see those guys at Goodwill, and like, wow, you got, all right, you just have no shame in public. You're just looking for the underpriced stuff. But like, people will just be able to do that with like on the DL now.
Well, it'll be interesting too if you can ever like upload your own list of stuff you're looking for, and because like when you're looking through big bins and it's hard to see everything, and your fucking glasses just start flashing like, I've identified like 5 things on your list, and then just start pointing them out for you. Can you imagine if that's
a thing? And for this amazing convenience, all it will take is your soul, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, we've given up our souls for less, haven't we?
I'm trying to retain as much as possible. Okay.
Oh, okay. I wish you well in your current endeavors. Anyways, Tyler, that's the episode.
No, you didn't say what you're buying and what you're playing. We just talked about Meta Smart Glasses.
No, that's the episode for what we've done. Now we just got to talk about what we bought and what we played, and we're out of here. Amazing.
Johnny, what'd you buy?
Tyler, you don't want me to talk about all this dumb shit I bought, do you?
No, I don't. Let's get some highlights.
Okay. Hey, I bought Corpse Party for the 3DS. Big box, comes with some toy figures in it. Pretty cool, right?
I mean, everyone loves those handheld games that come with toys, I guess. Sure.
This one has got like little girls on it, and they're dead, I guess. I don't know. Tyler, I bought a game called Seven Games of the Soul for the PC. It's a PC game. Kiss Psycho Circus, the Nightmare Child Collector's Edition. Because why not?
Pick it up.
Yeah, Mhm. So, these are some games I might have bought. I might have bought a ROM hack of Monster Party that features Elvira.
I hope you didn't.
Oh, Tyler. You know I did.
That's
because Elvira. I like Elvira. And I like weird Halloween stuff. Like, I don't know why this exists. Let me go and buy it. So that's we'll save it for there.
Literally exists to scam people like you who are like, NES, Monster Party, Elvira. These are my things. How do I swipe my credit card?
Hey, they got my $30. Okay, I gave it to them.
What is this? So $30? So this. Where did you buy this? AliExpress?
No, someone had a listing on eBay.
All right.
And then I went to Etsy and somebody had a box. So I spent $8 on the box. So
excellent.
That was it. Yeah, I loved me some Elvira. Give me some more Elvira stuff. It's a ROM hack. I also bought like the Atari homebrew Elvira game. I think I mentioned that before. I've got some stuff going on. I've got some stuff brewing for this Halloween, which is going to be the trashiest Halloween yet. I can't wait to show you guys all the weird shit I bought.
Stop buying bootleg ROM hacks. We have a podcast where like guys have goals, don't buy bullshit that's like garbage for your collection, and you're like,
oh yeah,
I got the Monster Party ROM hack on eBay.
Yeah, I look, I said do as I say, not as I do. I like when the Halloween stuff is out, it like all bets are off. I like to feature stuff that you shouldn't necessarily buy as well too. So like, but you got to show the people. You got to show the people what it is.
Do you play anything, Johnny?
Tyler, no. I just got my TV back the other day, so I can finally like look at my TV again. And then they like set it all up, and I want you to know that these were professionals setting it up, and obviously my receiver threw an error code because they got something wrong with the speakers and like the two back ones aren't working. And I got to go in and adjust everything, and I'm glad professionals did a worse job than I did when I set this all up years ago.
It's because they don't care and you do care. Have you considered that?
Yes. My wife was like, I'm glad you're the way you are because, man, nothing would be right if you weren't like this OCD about bullshit. So she's like, how do you even know the receiver's throwing an error code? I'm like, because after they plugged it in, I immediately tested it to see if it would throw error codes, to see if they got it right. So anyways, what about you, Tyler? What'd you buy? What'd you play?
Johnny, last week, 2 weeks ago, I got a sealed copy of Thief the Dark Project.
You sure did.
And I was like, is this game, why don't people remember this game? And then because I did that, I went on eBay and I'm like, all right, well, Thief 2 is the better version of Thief the Dark Project. So I went and I bought the only sealed copy of Thief 2, and I was the only bidder, believe it or not.
Oh.
And then the same guy also had a copy of Far Cry for sale, so I bought that, which was pretty cheap.
It's a far cry from a good game, you know what I'm saying?
Far Cry rules. Man, I love Far Cry.
I just making a dumbass
I know
joke.
you're...
Far Cry is a good game. I'm just kidding.
I mean, every single person on planet Earth, like PC people in 2007, were like all the way into Crysis, and I'd never played Far Cry, so I got into Crysis. I'm like, wow, Crysis is a really cool, and this game looks awesome. And then I went back to play Far Cry, and I couldn't believe how much like Crysis it is. Just like super open, and the graphics were obviously ridiculous for the time.
Your PC can play Crysis? Oh my god, are you rich?
Damn, I had like a 7800 GT. It could barely play Crysis.
Oh man, shit, dog.
Crysis, Johnny, Crysis. Kind of a meme, but also a good game. Do people not remember Crysis? Crysis should be... Is Crysis a key game? Like, what's going on here, guys?
I don't know.
in like a technological sense, like, so like the entire CryEngine has something to do with NVIDIA, right? Because every engine, all PC graphics deal with NVIDIA, and now NVIDIA is the biggest company on planet Earth, and we know things like the Apple One and the original iPod and the original iPhone, those are collectible because Apple is such a huge company now. Now that NVIDIA is the biggest company, shouldn't things like boxed NVIDIA GPUs and video games that use NVIDIA's technology, shouldn't those be like super collectible NVIDIA items? Think about it, guys. Next spec pick, NVIDIA TNT GPUs. Is it Riva TNT? What were the first NVIDIA cards?
Don't know.
Hold on, this is a spec pick. I'm spec picking right now. First NVIDIA
pick
GPU.
of the show. All right, here we go.
It's the GeForce 256. I've got one of those in one of my old computers, but it's not boxed. Oh, the predecessor was the Riva TNT2. Wait, I don't know the history of NVIDIA as a company then.
Oh, man.
Okay, so the GeForce 256 is the original GeForce card, but it's not NVIDIA's first GPU. More research is necessary, but I'm telling you guys, this is... people are going to be wanting these NVIDIA GPUs just like they want Apple Ones and original iPods.
I think so, yeah. I think you're right. Go buy them today.
Because you know what, when NVIDIA, if NVIDIA crashes and burns and goes to zero one day, people are going to be nostalgic for that time that they all became millionaires off NVIDIA stock. And then
I can agree with that, Tyler. That's definitely the path we're on.
I have no idea what path we're on, man. Oh, you know what? I was going to bring this up I'm just going to complain right now.
Okay.
All the fucking, the people who think they're Wall Street day traders who are like, oh, what's the latest Tesla news? What's the latest Nvidia news? Oh my God, IBM. Oh, look at this Facebook play. And they draw lines on graphs and shit. The S&P 500, I know this is the most boring, obvious advice. It's like fucking 15% of it, 20% of it is these companies like fucking NVIDIA. NVIDIA alone is like 7% of the S&P 500. Like Facebook is a huge amount of it. Tesla is a huge amount of it. So if you just buy that, you have all the fucking companies that you're talking about. You just spread your risk out among all of them. It's all the same companies. It's fucking Facebook and NVIDIA. That's what the stock market is. Instead of betting all on NVIDIA or Tesla, just buy all of them. It's my yell at you about stocks segment of this episode.
To be fair, we haven't done it yet today.
Yeah. Johnny, do you know what game I'm playing?
Right now? No, I don't. Which one? Is it Ultima?
I'm playing Thief the Dark Project. God damn.
Oh, man.
That's a long game.
What the hell? What a weird choice that you would be playing.
I'm 24 hours into it, and I'm only like 3/4 of the way done. Man, games are long. So I forgot this. I was really positive on Thief when I started playing it last week because I only played some of it as a kid. And Thief, it has a unique engine. They made their own game engine based around sneaking around and like light and sound and things like that for stealth. And it's awesome because half of Thief is like sneaking into mansions and infiltrating the rival thieves guild and breaking people out of jail. And it's like cool thief stuff. And then the other half of it is like, oh, we played Resident Evil and Tomb Raider, so how about you go under the city and there's like this ancient lost Tomb Raider city that you gotta explore, or you go into the graveyard and there's a bunch of supernatural zombies and ghosts and you fight them with swords. And all of that part sucks. So then when they made Thief 2, it's only the good parts of Thief. So as much as I am kind of enjoying my time with Thief the Dark Project, maybe just go play Thief 2. It's my game recommendation.
You were in on Thief, now you're out on Thief, and now we're back to Thief 2.
Also, I'm not out on Thief. Is still a very good game. Fun fact, if you go into the old Thief Usenet group, because when Tyler's playing a game, we're immersing ourselves in the culture. If you go into the old Thief Usenet group and see people talking about Thief, you know who's fucking in there? Terry Pratchett is way into the Thief series. He was in the Thief Usenet group for years posting about the first 3 Thief games. Weird. Dude was like making and playing custom levels. Dude was just like all up in the Thief culture.
Huh.
Kind of neat.
That is neat.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, that's it. We did it. That's the show. Tyler, do you want to tell them where they can find you on social? Oh, no, we don't do that anymore. Never mind. Hey, anyways.
You can't just make that joke every week. That was, you do it every time.
I don't do it every time.
You're like my dad. My dad has dementia, and he'll make the same joke 4 times in the same conversation, and that's how I feel right now.
I have not made that joke recently.
It doesn't matter. It's old. It happened. Yes, I'm off social media, but except for Discord.
But I was making a joke how we used to do a set, like the very last part of the show is where we would put our social tags and stuff, and then we just stopped doing that and never went back to it. Do you even know the history of that, Tyler? We did, and one time we realized we forgot to do it, so then we went back and re-recorded an ending, and I was just like, I'm never doing that again. And so I just stopped doing it, and we stopped doing it, and that was it. That was the end.
Thank you guys for listening to the show.
Tyler has nothing to say. He's been shamed.
Nice, concise. I'm not shamed.
He is shamed for his outburst. He's feeling bad about himself.
I'm absolutely not feeling bad.
He promises he will not do it again. He is sufficiently scolded. You can hear the shame in his voice. That's it for the show. Thanks so much for listening. If you want to give us a question, you can join us on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/collectorsquest, which gives you access to the Discord where the questions go and all the good people. And an After Dark, we just released one. So go check that out. Thanks again for listening. And to all who support us, bye.